Welcome to Show Me the Money at Rugby League TV. It's the second Monday night game of the new Rugby League Championship season, and it sees the York Knights hosting the Bradford Bulls. Both clubs have different contrasting fortunes in round one. We know York were a little bit disappointed with their performance against Widnes, with a few errors leading to points on the board by the Vikings, where at Odsal the Bradford Bulls hit the ground running with a fairly comprehensive 24-8 win over Whitehaven. This one has all the makings of a classic. We know historically when Bradford and York meet, these games normally go right down to the buzzer. 5 of the last 8 have been decided by 4 points or less.
Wow.
So nothing gives me any indication that we're going to see anything deviate from that. I do think it'll be really close, really tight this evening. One of the championship games of the season. Bradford, incidentally, have never lost at the LNER Stadium. They went there with Danny Brough last year. 2 years ago when it was 36-18, and we all remember the Miles Lawford show last year when young Miles burrowed his way over for the game-winning try. 20-16 on that occasion. Look, this is going to be a real humdinger. Bradford obviously new look in 2023. They're going there looking to make it 2 wins on the bounce. York looking to pick themselves up after that defeat against Widnes. I'll be honest, there's a little bit of loyalty to Bradford when I do this, but I think it is going to be close. And like I say, 5 of the last 8 decided by 4 points or less. I do think that is how close it'll be tonight, and it will be a very, very narrow Bradford win. Bradford will win, but oh boy, that does put a bit of pressure on Andrew Henderson and the York Knights. And I'm guessing that before we go into the game, that's where the pressure probably is. It is probably on York, knowing that after this game against Bradford, they're out on Thursday evening down to the south of France to face Toulouse. They don't want to be going there, not from 2.
Yeah. I think, it's be an interesting game for York. Like they said, they lost to Widnes in a fairly close game, didn't they? 19-12, I believe. They probably need to win this, don't they, and go 1 for 1. What would you think, Bradford? What do you think, Bradford, though? Because with their expectations, the bookies having them top 3 team, if they go 1 for 1 in the league with York, who are perceived to be a middle of the table team going into this season, what would Bradford think with a 1 for 1? Are you still happy?
Who's perceived York as a middle team?
I'm just going off the bookies, Mick.
Bookies have got York top 6, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's middle of the like 6th, aren't they? 5th, 6th, which is middle of the table, lads. Sorry for being a smart ass.
No. My interpretation is
if the joint 4 favourites York going into the season, and obviously it's 4-2
Yeah, but they were 3 men. They were 3 and 3rd favourites. They were 3 third favourite teams, weren't they?
Yeah, but the level with Bradford, according to the bookies, York are favourites tonight to win this game.
Yeah, I know. I saw. Yeah. That's. I got told that. That's shocking.
Look, the pressure for me is still firmly on York after that home defeat. You don't want to lose 2 home games, and as I said to Jimmy yesterday on the phone, I think it was, the problem for York is if they lose tonight and then they're not going to get anything from Toulouse. I'll be brutally honest. I think anybody, no disrespect to Andrew Henderson and York, they're not going to, and they're not winning in Toulouse. You're starting the season 0-3. All of a sudden, the games keep passing you by, and that could be too much. I know it sounds crazy. I sounds crazy to say it now.
Ahead of
no, Jimmy. No, I've seen enough. I've seen this happen. Previous seasons with clubs, you lose so many at the start, you're playing catch-up and you just can't make the ground up.
I think it depends. I think fans, if they go 0 for 3, I don't think fans obviously will be happy and coming to conclusion. But within the squad, I think they'll know that they've got quite a lot of injuries. They're probably hoping to get their injuries out of the way early on in the season, get them out of the way, and then obviously, hopefully, get fit at the right time and hit a good run of form. I think in turn they've got to keep that if they are having a tough thing with injuries. The starting half-backs have been, obviously one of them's left, Atter's injured. They've got obviously Liam Harris and Jamie Ellis now, but they've brought in Liam.
No, Ellis is still injured.
Ellis, so who's going to be the 2 half-backs then?
Well, you just said that Atter Hingano's not playing, did you?
Yeah, Andrew Anderson said when we spoke on Friday, he's doubtful, yeah.
Well, I'd imagine in that case, Matty Marshall moving to...
Yeah, Matty Marshall's been in halves for a couple of pre-season games.
So, and Brownie to full-back.
It'll be Marsh and Harris in the halves.
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
So they're missing quite a few. So internally, they know they've got a lot of injuries. They've obviously probably waited until their full team kicks in. That first 13 that we know how good it is, one of the best in the league / could be the best in the league. So it'd be interesting. But like you said, they probably hope that it's close. I think York have got to hope to win. But as long as it's close, they'll probably keep the motivation up for when players are back and they're full force in a couple of weeks.
The interesting one from a Bradford point of view, of course, is Jack Walker.
Yeah.
Hamstring tear is going to be out for the next 6 or 7 weeks. Tom Holmes, do you keep Tom Holmes at fullback or do you play George Flanagan Jr.? I think you've got to keep Tom Holmes at fullback. The way he performed against Whitehaven was absolutely out of this world. 5 minutes into the game for a position that he's not really played there much in recent seasons. He has played there, but it's not a position he is absolutely familiar with. So it was like watching a duck take to water for the first time. And the fact that Jamie Duran thought he would just keep peppering Tom with the aerial bombardment, and he just dealt with every single one of them. So I'm sure tonight, Marsh and Harris are going to do the same. But I'd expect Holmes at fullback. I think George Flanagan Jr. Sadly, will have to miss out on this one, and then that opens up what you're doing with the halves. Are you going with Jordan Lilly and Dec Patton in the halves again? We know George Roby is in the squad. That gives me an indicator that it probably is going to be Patton and Lilly in the halves tonight. Yeah. There's no Miles Lawford in the squad, so that's the big indicator for me that it will be Patton and Lilly and Roby starting at 9, of course, who's on loan from the Huddersfield Giants. But yeah, listen, I spoke to Mark on Thursday. He has got a huge selection headache, and it's a nice selection headache.
Yeah.
Like he said a few weeks ago, this time last year, you couldn't buy us an half-back or get 2 fit half-backs out there. Now, you've got 4 fit and ready outside the stands. Certainly the case of Miles Lawford. But no, Kevin Appo, he's come over. Brilliant. He's in the squad. I think he might make the bench tonight, Kevin Appo. So he really is an interesting character. He's got 7 brothers, 3 sisters. So he's sibling number 11. And honestly, just hearing about the culture of Papua New Guinea, he's telling us what's your favourite food? Because you forget here, you can go to Taco Bell, KFC, McDonald's, you can go to Pizza Express. You could go to all these wonderful places. Over there, Kevin's...
Wonderful places?
Well, no. Nando's, Wetherspoons. I'm probably showing my inner city Bradford living here. But no, he was like, I like pigs and sheep. And then he's telling me about how they kill the sheep, the pig, and the pig will be on the smoker for 18 hours, and then that'll feed the whole village. But no, back to the game. Listen, it's going to be close. I don't know what the bookies have got. You're saying they've got York favourites.
Yeah, it's 2 points. It's coin toss.
This is what I'm saying, Jimmy. York and Bradford, they've grown together since 2018 and them first meetings in League One. Who can ever forget the game at Bootham Crescent where Joe Keys kicked the penalty from halfway after the hooter had gone to York, then absolutely steamrolling Bradford in that first half at Odsall, and the famous fight back from the Bulls, Dane Chisholm, again after the hooter, missing the kick. It would have been 30 points all, but it was 30 points to 28. And then, you look back to 2019, York 25, Bradford 24, a real humdinger at Bootham Crescent. And then last season, 20 points to 16, a scoreless second half, Miles Lawford's try just before half-time, winning the game for Bradford. Listen, it's going to be that close, and it won't be anything like what we saw last Monday.
No, I think that's the real interesting.
You've been waiting to jot that one in, haven't you, mate?
I'm waiting for the Championship preview show for that one. We're opening up with that one.
I think the real interesting thing tonight
nice coming out.
is going to be Bradford. Thankfully, last week had plenty of time to adjust to having Tom Holmes at half-back. So I'm with you. I think we'll go into the game with Tom there and with Dec and Jordan in behalf. That's how I envisage it. Which leads me to my only concern. Bradford the fact that Hingano isn't playing, I think, again, it's a big loss for York. York are, as we know, a bit lighter in the forwards than Bradford are. If we look at the squad and what we think the benches might be, you know, you probably, as much as I love Jordan Thompson, Teamby, amongst others, who are as good as anyone in the league, Bradford probably a bit stronger there, and it's probably going to be played in the middle of this game as much as possible. So Bradford's issue, as we know, is last year, let's be brutally honest, Dec Patton and Jordan Lilly did not work.
Correct.
So what Bradford need is a total fresh start, and them two to
work,
sort
to
it
communicate.
out and work it.
Yeah.
We know that Tom and Jordan would be great. Tom and Dec would be great, because Tom's the sort of character that can play with Dec Patton. You know, it's as simple as that, isn't it? He's chilled out. If Dec's screaming his head off, Tom can take it and he'll just crack on. We need Jordan and Dec, from a Bradford point of view, to get on and perform. If they do, on the back of Bradford having, I think, probably a bit more joy down the middle,
the forwards
throughout the whole game, then I think Bradford will sneak it. But if they don't, York will win. I think it's as simple as that. I think it's down to them.
So you're firmly putting the spotlight.
I'm putting the spotlight on
Dec Patton and
Dec
Jordan
Patton.
Lilly.
No, I'm putting it on Dec Patton.
Dec Patton.
Because I think Jordan Lilly will do it, but they were bickering on the pitch last year.
I saw it. Yes,
And you can't.
They were
you can't
arguing.
do
They were
that.
effing. They were jeffing. No. Yeah.
So
totally
if
unacceptable.
they've got it sorted, and Dunning's
Unprofessional
got them. You know, everyone's in a happier place. Everything's more positive, which is everything we've seen so far. You know, then that, you know, it could be a good night for the Bulls. But you can't afford any chinks, because this York team, even though they've got injuries, it's still a quality team. They're at home. They're looking for a reaction from last week. They will take advantage of that.
100%.
So it's going to be, it's going to come down to that. I hope for Bradford's sake, we see a different Dec Patton and Jordan Lilly combo. But if we don't, York might just get that first win.
On the spot time, Jimmy. Prediction, score.
Ooh.
No sitting on the fence.
Do you know what? I think that if Brownie's going to fullback, so Matty Marsh coming half, you're breaking up James Glover and Brown.
Yeah.
Which for me is as good a edge as any. Glover is just every single game outstanding. He'll be whacking people for fun. Loves to score tries himself, but to lose that partnership is probably quite key. So I'm gonna give the edge to Bradford as long as them two get it sorted. So I'm gonna go a very close game. I'm gonna go Bradford by 2. But it could easily go the other way, you know. But
I'm not sitting on the fence.
No, I'm not
Jimmy.
doing. I'm not doing. I'm saying Bradford by 2.
There you go, Joe.
I don't know. I like this signing. We've not mentioned yet the signing of Levi Edwards for York City Knights.
Well, you can mention it now.
That's what I'm doing. Levi Edwards, York City Knights. Obviously, we saw how good he was at parts last year. And he's just a strike centre. He's going to bring you great footwork, great attack. Obviously, I think still has some defensive things to work on, some decision making. But I think with York's, like you said, they're very quite defensively sound. They were obviously, I've not seen them much under Hendo, so I don't want to say anything. But last year they were very defensively sound, prided themselves on not missing tackles and being that structured defensive unit. And I think if they're keeping that, which by the score of 19 points only Widnes can get, I think they probably are, and they probably need someone like Levi. So I think that brings the game to a lot of a closer one than what it might be, just because I said the York injuries, not that it wouldn't be. And I think York maybe late in the season might get an edge. I don't know, but I think with the current state, I was gonna go Bradford before I saw the Levi signing and seeing the videos that he's on it, and he's, by the sounds of the first the 21-man preliminary squad, he's straight in. So I think it's gonna be. I think also it's going to be a close game. I like York's speed. They've got a bit more speed than Bradford. I think Bradford have still got to work on that. They were hoping a lot of that come from Jack Walker. I think Jack's a bit faster than Tom. Tom's got his. That's not a dig at Tom at all. I just think Jack did bring that extra bit of speed that Bradford don't really have that much, and that's the one thing that scares me. It's at that York pitch where it's quite a fast-paced pitch. It is at LNER, isn't it? I believe. Yeah. So it's quite more of a fast-paced pitch, and I think that will be the equaliser here. So I think it will be. I think a try either way. So I'm going to pick that Bradford win with the current depth of the squad. But yeah, I think it'll be a lot closer than. To be honest, I was going to say maybe a Bradford win by 8-12. But now I'm going to say Bradford by 4 just because of the pitch. Levi just bringing that extra strike that I think they needed, suggested by the 12 points last week.
Well, there we go. Jimmy's got Bradford by 2. Joe's got Bradford by 4. I've already said it will be a very, very close game. There'll be less than 4 points in it, and I've got a Bradford win.
Wow, yeah.
So we've got a clean sweep for Bradford, but listen. I agree, Jim. It's not really sitting on the fence saying could go either way. Could go either way.
Yeah,
they're not. These games normally do go down to the hooter. So,
and I just think going back to it, it's going to be a massive battle in the middle. It is a nice pitch, but I still think it's going to be a big battle down the middle. York are losing that running threat of Matty Marsh coming out a full back. Not that Brownie's not a running threat, but it just disrupts him a little bit. Yeah. And you've got to feel for Hendo. He's going straight into the season with adversity already.
Yeah.
And there's no easy games of a champ, as we'll get onto when we look at this weekend's results. But to have Widnes and then Bradford, it is a real tough start for him. So if York can come off with the win, I'd argue it's probably a bigger win for York than it would have been for Bradford. And I know York are favourites, but clearly none of us quite see York as the favourite. So it'll be a hell of a result if York can do it.
There we go. 7:30 tonight. Enjoy York Knights against the Bradford Bulls. Game 2 of the new championship season and the Monday night affair.